All right, everybody, let's talk about Google. I mean, who hasn't spent hours, days even, tweaking their website, trying to crack the code to get that top ranking, right?
Like the holy grail of the internet.
Totally. And while there are tons of, shall we say, creative SEO tactics out there, today we're diving into something that actually moves the needle. Content strategy.
Music to my ears.
We're taking a deep dive into a podcast episode that really caught our eye, all about how to make content that Google, and more importantly, your audience, will love.
Sounds good to me.
One of the things that really hit home from this episode was just how much Google relies on content to, even understand what your website is about.
Yeah, it's like gone are the days when you could just stuff a bunch of keywords in there and call it a day. Google's gotten way too smart for that.
So how does Google figure out what our websites are all about? I mean, what's going on behind the scenes there?
Well, think of it this way. Google uses these incredibly powerful algorithms, but they're not just some magic box that spits out rankings. These algorithms rely on, natural language processing.
NLP.
Right. Exactly. It helps Google understand the actual meaning and context of the words on your pages.
So, it's not just looking for keywords, it's actually trying to understand what we're saying.
Exactly. It's like Google's reading your website, trying to figure out the main topics, the themes, even the entities like people, places, things mentioned, to really understand what your content is all about.
Wow. It's like Google's actually hiring a team of little librarians to read every single website on the internet.
Huh. In a way, yes. And this is precisely why that old school tactic of keyword stuffing just doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, that's about as effective as wearing a neon sign that screams, "Hey Google, look at me."
Right. And it can actually harm your ranking because it makes your content sound, well, spammy, to put it bluntly, like you're trying to game the system.
It's like the equivalent of trying to impress someone by just repeating the same word repeatedly.
Exactly. It's just not a good look.
So, if we can't stuff keywords, how do we use them in a way that actually works?
Well, this episode gave some really great advice on this, and it's all about being much more strategic and a lot more natural. For example, they talked about using your main keywords in your heading tags.
Those are like the chapter titles for Google, right? It helps it scan your content.
Exactly. It's like giving Google a roadmap to your website.
Makes
And another thing they highlighted was the importance of using keywords strategically in that all-important above-the-fold section, that part of your web page that people see before they start scrolling.
Oh, absolutely. First impressions are everything online.
Right. So if you can naturally weave your keywords into those first few paragraphs, it can make a huge difference. But, and this is key, it has to be done naturally. Don't shoehorn keywords in there where they don't belong.
So, to summarize, we need to strike that balance between optimizing for search engines while also making sure the content flows well and engages actual human beings.
100%. It's all about creating content that your audience will find valuable, relevant, and enjoyable to read.
Which, as this episode points out, leads to that awesome double reward of good content. What did they mean by that?
Yeah.
It's actually quite simple. When you consistently create high-quality content that resonates with your target audience, you're not just getting random website visitors, you're building a loyal following. People start to see you as an authority, someone they can trust. They share your content, link to it, and keep coming back for more.
And that, my friends, is what Google loves to see. It's like a giant neon sign that says, "Hey, Google, this website is legit."
Exactly. And all of that organic engagement, it tells Google that your website is worth paying attention to.
So it's not about gaming the system. It's about playing the long game, building trust, providing value, and becoming a go-to resource in your niche.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Well, on that note, we've covered a lot of ground today, but before we wrap up, here's a little something to think about. What's one piece of content on your website that you could improve right now? Could you add more value? Could you make it more engaging? Just something to chew on.
Great question. And on that note,
Until next time, happy content creating.